Wow. Would you just look at that? Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. We're back in the California desert. I know, I've been going out to the desert a lot lately, out to the Old West. But today, we're not out in the Old West. We are in the middle of nowhere. Today, I'm hanging out with my buddy Oscar, who is out playing with his camera. So we're out testing some camera equipment and checking out some sights out in the desert. Really the middle of nowhere. Normally you'd think there isn't that much to see out in the middle of nowhere, out in BF Egypt, out in East Jesus Nowhere. But today we're gonna prove that theory wrong, because today Oscar and I are in the middle of East Jesus Nowhere, but it is really somewhere special. Look at this. A few hours outside of Los Angeles, past Palm Springs, past Pee-wee's Dinosaurs, on the edge of the Salton Sea, just over yonder is a place called Slab City, where tons of people bring their trailers and RVs and live out in the desert, where there are pretty much no rules. Some of them are sketchy people with no choice. Some of them are just good old-fashioned bohemian hippie style folks. Some of them are just snowbirds who live in like Minnesota or Wisconsin or somewhere cold, so they bring their campers down here and ride out the winter out in the California desert. But a lot of them are just people who are short on patience for the rules, but long on creativity. Welcome to East Jesus, an experimental art installation and really cool sculpture garden. In the year 2007, a guy by the name of Charlie Russell left his technology job, packed all his belongings into a shipping container, and moved himself out here to Slab City, where he founded this experimental art installation known as East Jesus. Despite what it sounds like off the cuff, there's no religious connection. East Jesus is just a term for the middle of nowhere. But judging by the number of hipsters taking photos out here, old Charlie Russell really turned the middle of nowhere into a destination unto itself. Look at this place. We've got kinetic sculptures, all kinds of crazy rusty cans out here, Donkey Kong, giant foam bones, the craziest looking guard shack I've ever seen. And look at these art cars over here. This one's a boat, a 2-story boat. Hey, which one's the poop deck? No, seriously, I gotta go.
Oh, I think it's the back one.
Okay. Boat car, dune buggy, crazy spider web cage, monster mouth truck, and everything we've seen so far, this is just in the parking lot. Welcome to East Jesus. Beware of crazy artists. Dude, I'm getting excited about this. You ready to get some good shots,
yeah,
bro? You ready to be
it.
artistic? Vimeo or?
No, just for my personal.
Just to watch later?
Yeah.
That's cool. Oh, here we go. We got to go through the crazy gate into the sculpture garden. It's like we're entering a whole other world here, Oscar. Whoa! Look at the size of this place. Look at all of the amazing things out here. The desert wonders. I am so excited, I don't even know where to look first. Whoa, look at this amazing technology. This is a car from the future. There's more junk on here than on a DeLorean time machine. Look at this. Do you think Ford knows about this? Like straight out of Mad Max, man. They got all these CO2 canisters and bullets on their car. They're ready to go. You know the best part about this car, Oscar? You never have to stop and get chips, because you already got all the chips you need. Get it? Get it? Whoa, speaking of CO2 canisters, look at all of these. That is crazy right there. This is what humanity becomes in the future. The future! I love that there's a bunch of stuff over here that looks like little robots. We got a little robot over here with guns for arms, and then there's one right... Oh, watch out, dude. He's got a gun. He's right at your feet. This guy's got vinyl records for a hat. I like that. I love everything about this place. Dude, that is sick right there. It's like a speeder bike from Star Wars, but with like way better tunes. Dude, look at that. That's awesome. That's like my childhood fantasy.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Of like a spaceship. Punching the coordinates. Punching the coordinates. Here we go. Dude, this is partially built out of real lasers, and look, they've got a way to contact home. E.T. phone home. When I see places like this, full of stuff like this, I think, what have I been doing with my life? This is amazing. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know some about art, but I really don't know that much about art. But this art is some of the best art of all of the art. This is awesome. Look at this. This is amazing. I've been to the Louvre. I've been to many a fine museum, an art museum in many a town. And no joke, no exaggeration, no lie, I am more impressed by this. I like this better. Look at this. Forget Calico's bottle house. Look at this bottle wall here. This wall separates the sculpture garden from the place back here where East Jesus' residents live. There are still wild and crazy guys out here inventing all kinds of this crazy art. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that turret right there. Watch out for that duck. I think I had some of these Tonka trucks as a kid. This is amazing. I love this. Look at the sun coming through the bottles. It's beautiful. Wow. So far, all that was just me walking in the entrance and looking at this. But there's so much more to see out here. I got hung up on the bottle wall, Oscar. What's going on over here?
Look at the nice van.
Dude. This is a sweet ride. Ooh, Oscar. It also doubles as a church. First church of the chocolate martini. Was that Darth Maul? Gaze into the wonders of the art car. This is wild. I was just thinking about how when I show up to a lot of places in this country in my Mustang, I get weird looks. Imagine driving through Missouri in one of these bad boys. Look, just look at all this stuff. It's amazing. I feel like I don't have enough adjectives in my vocabulary for this place. Whoa, look at that. The wall of television. Now, I'm not a professional art critic, but if I was, what I'd probably say about this is that this is really cool looking. Also, I'm guessing by some of the things written on these televisions that this guy didn't like TV. But then at the same time, he definitely owns more TVs than I do.
It's true.
So maybe he really likes TV. It's a love-hate thing. It's a love-hate thing. Dang, how rad is this? How much time did this take to create? I do understand the message though, and it is kind of a good one. Throw your bowling ball into your TV. Free yourself. Go outside every once in a while. TV and entertainment can be a part of life, but it probably shouldn't be our whole lives. I get it. I get it. And there's a lot of cool pieces out here. Keyboard soldier's cross. Ooh, brick hinge. Definitely a lot of interesting stuff out here. A lot of interesting art pieces. Some small, some large. Some are being lived in. All in various stages of decay out here in the desert. I like this. I like this little UFO. Look at this guy here. That's awesome. One of my ex-girlfriends is behind you. Don't look, don't look. It's awkward. It's awkward. Just pretend like you don't see her. Let's go this way. Let's go this way. Definitely lots of messages out here. Did you know dolphins were genetically engineered by Stalin to destroy freedom? Cuban dolphins killed Kennedy. And Jesus. Stop dolphin violence. Think of the children. Don't kill mermaids. Did you know mermaids and dolphins are mortal enemies? I didn't know that. Ugh, these poor massacred mermaids. That one's interesting to me, speaking of mermaids, just because I've always been fascinated by the Salton Sea and all the different legends out here of like lost gold mines and the Salton Sea mermaids. We can talk about that in a little bit though. Like, look at all these ducks out here. Look at how many decoy ducks and geese. You don't think these ducks wrote that anti-dolphin propaganda, do you? Whoa. Look at this tower, dude. Look at this tower. It's glorious. It's magnificent. It's covered with wonderful things. And it has a message. Eat, pray, put birds on things. I'm having a hard time here with this one because any other place, if any one of these things was out at a truck stop or just out in the middle of nowhere, I'd be losing my mind over every detail. But here in East Jesus, there's so much insane folk art, or whatever you want to call it. I don't even know where to begin or how to process any of it or what the heck this thing is. Look at all these weird little shrines in here. More dolphin propaganda. Like, I'd be impressed just by the white board of white guns or just this one painting up here. Trash fairy is coming to take all of your trash. What do you think, Oscar? Weirdest place you've,
I would have to say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, a whole bunch of anti-dolphin propaganda, though.
Yeah, why is there so much anti-dolphin propaganda here? Look at this. All up the side of the tower. Look at all of that stuff up there. What is that stuff? I don't do drugs. I very rarely even will take a drink of champagne or anything. I cannot even imagine what this would be like for somebody that was whacked out or doped up on the silly sauce. This place makes me want to lose my mind. Like, whoa, right? Like, it feels weird. It feels crazy looking at this stuff. Look at that.
It's Reptar.
Reptar, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Look at this. It's Reptar. This dinosaur is made out of all kinds of pieces of wires and microchips and foam insulation and floppy disks. If you handed me the pile of materials this person used to create this dinosaur, my first thought probably wouldn't be dinosaur. Some of them just sort of look like, just like piles. And I don't understand
Maybe
them
this
at
is
all.
the material for the next one.
Maybe, or maybe it's just like, oh, what can I do with this? Should I just create? I've never like created a sculpture, so I don't know what sort of the process. I don't know, like some of them seem like you have a really solid idea and you construct the idea, and then other ones seem like you've got a bunch of parts and you just sort of haphazardly throw them together. Or maybe this one's the one with the message. I don't know. Jerry Garcia's car? Oh my gosh, Oscar just found the best thing of all of the things. Right next to the Grateful Dead mobile. It's the brave little toaster and all of his friends. It's the freaking brave little toaster. Oh my gosh, look. They got the brave little toaster and the grumpy vacuum cleaner and the little lamp, and there's no blanket. There's no electric.
Yeah, here it is.
Where?
Here it is. I think this is him.
Oh.
There's his face.
Oh, the electric blanket's here. He fell over a little bit. See, he fell over. There we go. The blanket. Look at, it's the whole gang. The brave little toaster. The brave little toaster. That is awesome, man. Blink and you missed that. You wouldn't even notice it here with all this other giant crazy stuff like the TV face robot with the gun arm and the pipe legs. Dang, he's got a whip. He's ready for action. Don't whip me. And you got the house that fell on the Wicked Witch just over and over and over again. Crutches and walkers and... man, I don't know what's going on out here. But the real question, as you look around at all this stuff, is really dolphins. Whose team are they on, anyway? Also, what does that have to do with The Simpsons, or Jawas, or anything? Whoa. Wow. Man. I get it. Dude, I need to let my friends at Ripley's Believe It or Not know about some of these artists, because they would probably love this giant elephant made of tires. Speaking of Ripley's, I'm pretty sure I saw a giant elephant or something very similar to this made out of car tires there. But it was nothing like the two-legged, creepy stumps for arms, mammoth, creepy headlight looking, pipe nose, scary sword, murder, elephant. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. And the crazy thing is, they create stuff like this and then they just leave it there and go on to the next creation. Dude, we've been here for a while now, and I don't think there's any way I can see everything in this place. Oscar over here has already quit. He's just been playing Pokemon Go on his phone.
What? I left the Pokemon here.
What?
I left the Pokemon here.
What does that mean, you left a Pokemon here? What does that even mean?
If anybody wants to come out and challenge my gym, they can fight my Pokemon.
I didn't know you spoke Chinese. That's just... oh, see what I say about the Wicked Witch getting smashed by the house. Look at, there's the socks. Oh, I don't like this one. Looks really crappy to me. Maybe I just don't get it. Just look at this. Have you ever seen anything in your life quite like this place? I've been to a lot of places, but I've been to no place like this place. At least no place I know. Pretty stinking amazing. Come on, Oscar. Get inside there.
No.
Get inside that fridge. Go in there. Just get inside. Get inside the fridge. Okay, we're gonna close the door now. We're gonna close the door on you.
Smells like pee in here.
No, we're gonna close the door. All right. Now remember, kids, never, ever, for any reason, get inside of a refrigerator. You could get trapped in there and die. People will forget about you. They'll walk away. You could just be in the refrigerator for the rest of your life. No one will ever know, and you could freeze. What are you doing?
You can survive a nuclear blast.
Where?
In a refrigerator.
Oh. Okay, yeah, he's right. Never get into a refrigerator ever for any reason unless there's a nuclear blast coming. Then it's okay. Actually, I'm pretty sure Oscar's lying. I don't think that's okay. Dang, there's so much stuff I still haven't seen here. There's this crazy walkway of sculptures over here. What's this? What's going on here?
Nothing.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
What is this? This is awesome. I love how there's all these little structures for art in here. Hey, that's where I left my sunglasses. It's fine, they're dirty. I'll just leave them out here. I got some new ones anyway. Look, that's Tommy Pickles. We just made a Reptar reference a minute ago. That's weird. This day is turned a lot of Rugrats today.
Yep.
Oh, this is weird. It just sort of dead ends there. Oh well. Run, 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 run. It's a people trap. Oh, we were that close. We were that close.
But the cheese is in there.
Oh, no.
We should get the cheese.
No, Oscar. That's a hipster trap. It's a hipster trap. They take selfies in there. Bam. If we had posted it Instagram, that thing would have closed. We would have been there forever. Oh, well, the sun is starting to go down. I think it's safe to say we're not going to see everything at East Jesus today.
But at least you tried.
There's one last thing we got to do though before we can leave East Jesus. We got to pass the forest of hipsters, venture beyond the seesaw and the putt-putt golf course and the weirdest bowling alley I've ever seen. No, but seriously, weirdest bowling alley ever. Amazing. And go on to the Trey Fort. This is the most amazing, ultimate tree fort I have ever seen in my life. Did you ever have a tree fort when you were a kid?
Nope.
Me neither. It's amazing. It's spectacular. But I'm afraid of heights, so I will not be going up there. Oscar, go up the tower. Why not?
I'm scared of heights.
You too?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not scared though. I mean, we just don't have time. We have stuff to
Yeah, we got that thing.
yeah, over there. So. Well, this was amazing. And all those people who come out here and discover this place because of Coachella being so nearby probably come out here and think, what in the world? How does this make sense that this is out here in the middle of nowhere? But it actually makes a lot of sense that you would find this out here, because not only is East Jesus perched on the edge of Slab City, which, like I said before, is pretty much a place with no laws where people can hide out and live free of interference by the government. But Slab City itself is perched right on the edge of one of the greatest roadside attractions slash desert wonders, maybe the greatest of all time. One of the greatest pieces of folk art in American history, Salvation Mountain. Bum, ba, ba, bum, 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 ba, ba, bum, 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 ba, ba, bum, 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 bum. Behold the wonder, the glory, and the ultimate weirdness that is Salvation Mountain. Look at this, Oscar. What would you say? 4 or 5 stories? Maybe 4 stories. A 4-story Technicolor statement to the world. This whole place was all built by one guy, a little tiny old man named Leonard Knight that I had the pleasure of meeting many, many times out here at his mountain. Of course, I wasn't doing videos back then, and sadly, Leonard is no longer with us, but as you can imagine, he loved God quite a lot. And thanks to a lot of volunteers and donations, his message is still standing today. Leonard was actually an East Coaster, a New Englander, I believe, and he came out here years and years ago with a dream. Funny enough, building a mountain was not Leonard's dream. Leonard's dream was actually to build a hot air balloon. Having seen the light, as he put it, and inviting Jesus into his heart, Leonard once saw a hot air balloon flying above somewhere with a message on it. Probably, I'm guessing it was some sort of blimp, and it was probably some sort of advertisement. But the way he told the story to me was he saw a hot air balloon with a message on the side of it, and he thought, maybe I can build my own hot air balloon and put God is love on the side of it. So he started stitching it together by hand. Apparently he spent years and years and years stitching it together, but when he would finish one side, the other side would already be rotted out. And he built it so big and huge that he could never get it inflated with enough air. So I guess years and years later, Leonard came out here and he left his hot air balloon aside and started building his God is love message somewhere else on the side of this mountain. First, he started with car tires and cement. That all crumbled down. So then he started again using what he called adobe. He would take the native local clay, mix it with a lot of hay and straw, and make his own adobe, as he called it. And piece by piece, paint can by paint can, created this monument to eternal love. I came out here a couple different times and had long chats with Leonard over there under that little hut to keep the sun off of us. I don't know how old he was. He must have been at least in his 70s when I was talking to him. His whole thing behind this is that he thought, God loves everybody, and he just wanted everybody to know how much God loved them. There was no negativity to that guy, no hate, no judgment at all. Just this super nice, simple little fella who thought everyone should know that God loves them. This is all painted desert right here. This represents the ocean. Look, there's a boat right there for the fishers of men. And here's the main part of Leonard's work, the mountain itself. Follow the yellow brick road and it will lead you all the way to the top. These blue and white lines here, these are the waterfalls. Leonard was very proud of his colorful waterfalls.
I fell down this last time.
What?
I almost fell down this last time.
You almost fell down the mountain?
Yes.
Salvation Mountain?
I almost fell down.
This is definitely probably the only waterfall that you're gonna see out here in the desert near the Salton Sea. If you look way out there under the blazing sun going down, you might see a sliver of reflection of the sea. We'll go down there in a minute. You were just here a couple days ago, right?
Yep.
Yeah. See, Oscar wanted to film some stuff out here. We wanted to go see East Jesus, but how can we come out to East Jesus in Slab City and not stop at Leonard Knight's Salvation Mountain? Don't worry, we will definitely be coming back and taking another look at Salvation Mountain in the future, for sure. The last 2 times I came out here, I was here with my friend Adam the Woo, and the first time that I ever brought him out here and he was gonna film it and do a video, Leonard was still alive, and I was so excited to come out here and see him. I brought this book that had a picture of Salvation Mountain in it, but when we got here, we learned that he had just gone into the hospital. He was starting to lose his vision. I believe they had to cut off his legs or something like that. He had diabetes really bad, and he never knew it living out here in the desert. And sadly, not too long after that, Leonard Knight passed away. So pretty sad, pretty nice little old man. Really made an impact on me. Like, look at this. Look at the size of it. Look what one person can accomplish. Ugh, careful, man. That is very steep, way steeper than it looks. But one person, whole bunch of cans of paint, and some mud and hay. This is amazing. It's sort of somewhat falling apart. I see cracks everywhere and I see mud peeking through, so hopefully there's still volunteers patching this place up, but it's a lot of work. And can you imagine, this is one little old man and sometimes a few volunteers keeping this place together. You can see how thick all those layers of paint are. That's basically just over mud and straw. So one really gnarly rain could probably wash this entire mountain away. And they have a pretty strict stay off the mountain policy for that reason. Leonard always wanted visitors to stay on the yellow brick road, as he called it, because these are the parts of the mountain that he like kind of extra reinforced. Like, yeah, you can climb up on the path. Don't stray from the path. He probably turned it into a metaphor. Don't stray from the straight and narrow, man.
Yeah, makes sense.
You'll fall down into the pit of despair. Notice though that there is no pit of despair. There's no real hell artwork or anything like that. Leonard, positive dude, man. Just wanted to spread the love. He was kind of like Fred Rogers in that way, you know? Kind of looked like him too, actually. Oh, we made it. We stayed on the straight and narrow path, and we've made it to the top of the mountain. We've reached the pinnacle, Oscar. The pinnacle. Dude, what do you think we look like from down there?
Ants.
I bet we look super cool.
Oh yeah.
We probably look awesome up here. Hey, do we look cool up here? Hey everybody, do we look awesome? I bet we look awesome. That is amazing, dude. Dude, somebody built their own mountain. Oscar, what have you ever done?
Nothing.
Oh, here it is. The tippy top. Car tires and adobe, maybe some cement. And some big old telephone poles up there. A little tiny bit of paint perhaps. And a whole lot of imagination later. Salvation Mountain. Now, I actually wasn't kidding before. I am usually pretty afraid of heights, but there's something about the name Salvation Mountain. Just doesn't seem like you could fall off Salvation Mountain. You know what I mean? Salvation is permanent. Oh, Oscar just noticed you can see East Jesus from up here. Oh yeah, there's Slab City. East Jesus is out there somewhere. Whole different world, man. You got the bohemians out there, the hippies, the wild anarchists and whatnot. And then over here, you had a tiny little old man who wanted to let everybody know that God loved them. So the mountain is cool. The mountain is great. Everyone has seen the mountain one way or another. Books about roadside attractions, or on the internet, or as Oscar just pointed out to me, it's in Grand Theft Auto. But the coolest part of the whole thing might just be down here on the ground, on the other side of the mountain. Just down here are my favorite parts. Leonard lived out here near his mountain in the back of one of those trucks over there. He would do the bulk of his work in the cool of the early morning out here, but to shield himself from the heat of the midday sun, Leonard built himself something pretty interesting. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Leonard's Hogan. Wait, is it Hogan like Hulk Hogan or Hogan? I don't know. Anyways, Leonard apparently saw some of those little huts that the Native Americans lived in to keep the sun off of them. He liked the idea and he built his own. I had the pleasure of coming in here with Leonard as he pointed out all these old pictures on the wall to me. Each one of these pieces had a little story, or he'd say, oh, that's a picture someone took and sent to me. He had a P.O. box, I'm pretty sure, in the town nearby. And even though he had a lot of trucks and stuff out here, they were mostly broken down. He'd ride his little bicycle into town or out in the desert and he'd go, oh, I found that out in the desert. Found that out in the desert. He had this cute little old man voice, dude. Look at this, Oscar. Look at all the work. Just this somewhere in the desert would be super impressive. Just this all by itself. Much less everything else he managed to accomplish here. Look at this. There's auto glass right there. Here's a picture of his beloved mountain up here. A newspaper clipping. So freaking awesome. Now last time I was in here, this room was in bad shape, coming apart. There's a lot of junk and trash piled up here, like people's PBR cans and stuff. So it's nice to see that some of it's being maintained, but Leonard would get up like way before dawn and be sticking mud into every nook and cranny and painting over it every single day. Without him and his passion and enthusiasm and him just living here making this his 100% full-time job, I honestly don't know how long this place that's made out of pretty much nothing but paint, straw, and mud can really realistically last out here. I can't remember which one came first, that one or this one. But there's actually more than one hut to Leonard's Hogan in here. I think this might have been the first one actually. Look, you can see some of the adobe walls are starting to come apart there. The mountain out there is all covered with these things that were Leonard's flowers. Leonard actually used to give these flowers away sometimes. You can see what they are. There's a little bit of that clay, and then he'd punch the center of it with his fist. And that's how he would create his flowers. Well, people liked Leonard's little Hogans here so much that eventually he decided that having a whole mountain of Salvation and 2 Hogans wasn't enough Salvation Mountain, and he started work on this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the museum. Look at the size of this place. Look at the epic scale of what Leonard was trying to do out here in the desert. Building a Technicolor mountain? Oh no, that's nothing. Leonard Knight was building himself a huge version of those little Hogans. A giant, domed museum. Dude, Oscar, the last time I was here and saw him here, he was way up on the tippy top of that huge ladder, just putting together the future roof of his museum. Not in that spot, probably over there. Yeah. But he was way up in that. We couldn't find him for a long time. It's because he was up there just working his little heart out. Building this. All this stuff. Look at all this wood, all these trees, old telephone poles, all stuff he'd find out in the desert or the people would bring here to him. And he was creating these trees out of tires, concrete, adobe, mud, paint. Eventually, all of that would have ended looking like this. How freaking cool is this? This is like every kid's fantasy. It's like something out of Star Wars when you're in here. Like it's like something from the Dark Crystal, something from another world. It's pretty wild. Look, more flowers. You can see pretty much the fist impressions.
It feels just like a fist.
Look at that. See?
You put your hand in there.
Amazing, right? Yeah. Look at that. You got all kinds of windows and car doors in here. Leonard's flowers are everywhere. There's also a lot of pictures in here. There's Leonard right there. There's an article about him enshrined behind some kind of tinted glass. This is the newest part of Salvation Mountain, but at the same time, it's the most ambitious and unfinished part, and there's really no way to protect it from wind and rain and sun, and I don't know about this. I don't think anyone's done any more work to finish roofing in the museum here. It looks pretty sketchy up above us. So who can say how long this will last? But for the moment, while it's still here, it is pretty amazing. It'd be pretty awesome if we could get like Zuckerberg or some billionaire to come here and just donate like a super large amount of money to just put some chicken wire and concrete over all of it and just save it forever. But then at the same time, even if the museum and even eventually the mountain ever disappeared, pretty sure Leonard's message will still survive. Pretty crazy, huh?
Yep.
Pretty wild. Pretty wild. I don't know what sort of artifacts Leonard was planning on displaying in his museum, but if he had finished it, man, this would definitely be one of the craziest places on the world. Someday we should all do a meetup out here and make everyone volunteer to paint the mountain. You good with the paintbrush, Oscar? Mm-hmm. It was your idea, man. You can have everybody do the Oscar meetup.
That's
Y'all
just
can
a
just
meetup.
paint and do
Nobody
all
wants
the...
to meet up with me.
Yeah, we all... What? Oh, don't say that.
Except for George.
All right, we gotta head out of here if we're gonna see the Salton Sea before the sun sets. See the Salton Sea before the sun sets.
See the Salton
Sea before the sunset. See the Salton Sea before the sun sets. Oh, you already lost it, dude.
Sea salt.
You're tongue-tied. Wow, look at that. That's amazing. It's like you're coming out to look at the twin suns setting, Oscar. Da, 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 da. Now I just made myself sad. All right, well, we got to come back. We'll come back together. We might not bring Oscar, though. It's kind of a wet blanket. Huh? What? Hey!
I wanted to put God is love in a beautiful, simple way to everybody. God loves everybody in the whole world. And I just want the whole world to know that God loves everybody, and I love everybody too. And that's all I want to say.
And now, the sun goes down on Salvation Mountain as Oscar and I take our leave and depart from the Mountain of Salvation towards the Sea of Saltonness. Of course, the sun is now rapidly going down, so I don't know if we're gonna make it to the beach before the sun goes down, Oscar.
Oh no.
We gotta hurry. Good thing I think we're allowed to drive fast. There are no rules in the desert. No rules. You can poop wherever you want, Oscar.
Nice.
Look at this, man. It's beautiful out here. I need to do some more exploring out here in the Salton Sea. The Salton Sea used to connect all the way down to the Gulf of California out to the Pacific Ocean like a bazillion years ago. And there's all these legends of lost Spanish treasure galleons out here in the desert that got cut off by the ocean. Tales of prospectors' fabulously wealthy mines now lost to history, full of diamonds and gold and who knows what out there in the desert. There was even this guy, Peg Leg Smith, from a nearby town who had all kinds of crazy lies and wild tales about this area. Then there's all kinds of crazy Native American legends and just all kinds of stuff, dude. There's legends about crazy lizard creatures that live out here in underground cities. There's stories about aliens, stories about the Salton Sea Mermaid. So people swear, dude. Other people have lake monsters here. They swear that they see mermaids in the Salton Sea, but I'd prefer if we had a lake monster. That'd be pretty cool. If we had like a Loch Ness monster, Salton Sea, we could get Cessie instead of Nessie. That's not very good. Or maybe I could find me one of them gold mines. That sounds pretty good. The Salton Sea is huge. It's California's largest body of water, and I think the second largest salt lake in the continental United States, maybe in North America even. And the crazy part of this is that 100 years ago, this was all a dry lake, and it got flooded because some irrigation canals broke from the Colorado River. Basically almost like how New Orleans flooded because of Katrina, you know, the dikes and the levees break and then water goes spilling out every which way. Some dikes and levees, or whatever they're called, broke out here, and all the crazy water from the Colorado River went rushing into this dry lake eventually. At first I was cool with everyone. Cool, a new freshwater lake. They started building resorts and all kinds of stuff out here. But eventually, because this place used to be part of the ocean in the Paleo-Mesozoic before time, the water got saltier and saltier and saltier and more polluted, until now what you basically have is California's version of the Dead Sea, a very, very high salt content body of water where there's crazy algae blooms, not much lives in there, and it's kind of smelly, honestly. We're trying to see it before the light goes away. Wow, look at that. Dang, that's a beautiful sight, Oscar. Look at that.
It is.
Ground is really unusual here because it looks like sand, but a lot of it's just salt and mud and covered with weird driftwood out here. And oh, look at, what's that? Oh, we got some fish bones. Very crunchy underfoot. Like very, what is this? Oh, dude, look at that. That's all like bones. That is all fish bones, like fish vertebrae. You're just walking through acres of bones. Ooh, rusty pipes, a lot of dead fish. Oh yeah, look at that. Bones and Almost stepped on another fish head out here. Pretty crazy. Ooh, yeah. There's yeah. Oh, there's dead fish everywhere. Ooh, watch your step. I don't want to alarm you, but there's also a couple of pretty sketchy trailers out here with some pretty sketchy looking people. Whoa. Dude, look at all this. It's all fish bones everywhere. Well, hopefully they're all fish bones. There's a lot of weird tracks out here too that don't look quite human. Oh, okay, now it's muddy. So we're getting towards the water. Whoa, dude, look at all these dead fish. Look at this. All of these, each one of these weird things that looks like a rock is a dead fish. And I gotta tell you, it smells delightful. Delightful? Would you use the word delightful?
I would say fishy.
Fishy? Yeah, seems a little fishy. Like, this is probably not the worst place in the world, but it's definitely like a little creepy. There's some strange people looking at us from some very abandoned looking pickup trucks over there. We got dead fish everywhere, bones sinking into the mud. Careful, dude. I was gonna say, there's a lot of drawbacks to being out here, but look at that view. That is gorgeous. That is amazing. Well, thank you all for joining us on this little adventure today. I hope you had a little bit of fun. And I'll see all of you guys next time in Random Land. Hopefully, we can come back to the Salton Sea soon, look into some of those mysteries, the lizard man and the aliens and whatnot. Good times. All right, guys. See you soon. That. Well, we didn't get stuck in the mud.
Nope.
We saw Salvation Mountain, saw the Salton Sea, and of course we saw tons and tons of dead. Oh, I feel bad every time I crunch one, bro. There was a cruncher right there. There was a cruncher. Wait a minute. Is that another fish? What is it, dude? That fish looks different than the other ones. What the? Oh my gosh. The Salton Sea Mermaid.